get to drive the 13 mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tony Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing. Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Here's timing.
Huh? Let's Talk Racing. Hey girl, hang on. I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing. Terri, you're right on time, girl.
It's quite amazing for me, just to be honest.
I ain't gonna say nothing to that.
I know. Be careful.
What's up, Terri?
Hey, Matthew. What's going on?
Not much. What are you up to?
Well, I'm downtown Des Moines, doing a little celebrating with my team. That's what we're doing. So,
That's what you're doing?
yeah, little dinner.
Getting ready, for anybody that doesn't know, Terri O'Connell on the line with us. Getting ready to go racing at the big famed Knoxville Speedway.
That's right, baby. Maybe Saturday night, I think. I think we may break it out Saturday night. It's not this Saturday night, next Saturday night. So we're pretty excited. Cool beans.
Yeah. What are we going to go run? Let's tell everybody what you're going to run. And
Well, I'm going to run sprint cars, 410 sprint cars at Knoxville, which is the world capital of sprint car racing, and we're really kind of gearing up to run the nationals here. So we're really pretty fired. We just got our Al Parker motor today, and we're ready to go. We're pumped. Vicky Logan's in town from New Zealand, and it's going to help us get everything kind of locked and loaded and ready. And he's wanting to run Saturday night, so I think we may do it. So sounds cool, baby. Like a little world history, maybe, you know.
how's the weather been up there? And if anybody doesn't know, this is a dirt track, so weather does have a little bit of influence in how things are going. But how's the weather been up there?
Yeah, the weather's been pretty good. The first couple of weeks they ran here, the track was really kind of heavy and wet, and basically a one-laner because the track was kind of, you know how it gets up here when the track gets wet.
Yeah.
And heavy. But last weekend the track kind of dried off, so it's kind of one of those things you got to get the car hooked up. Because Knoxville's one of those things. It's a half mile right on the pole, right on the bottom, and so it's a big old, high bank dirt racetrack that you run about 170 miles per hour around, and so just kind of one lane. But last weekend they had to get them hooked up, and get the things going. So, but the weather's been a little warm this week, but it's going to cool off for the weekend, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens out there.
Yeah.
So it's Iowa.
It's Iowa. Anything can happen up there, can't it?
That's right. If you don't like the weather, wait a few minutes. Well, I love it up here. It's been years and years and years since I've been around this part of the country, and I'm just always reminded when I come back up at how much I do like it up here. The weather, I actually like the weather, and of course, Knoxville's just a little old town, but you got Pella, which is a great little community, and then of course Des Moines is right up the road, and Des Moines is very cool. I really like it.
Have you been going to any races other than Knoxville?
No, we've been focusing here. This is what we're going to run. We really want to do well at the Nationals. And Scott Gaffin, my team owner, we just really been trying to learn and focus, get my head back acclimated to what we're going to be doing. You know, it's just some things that you need to, to have in your head when you're going to get out there and strap yourself into one of these, 940 horsepower race cars and get down on it. But we're also, Scotty's got some money put together for me to do the second race, nationwide race at Newton, which is just like 10 miles from my house. That I'm staying at. So we're just staying close. That's what we're going to do this season. Not so cool though, man. I mean, they pack that. They pack them in, and they run the 305s, 360s, and the 410s every Saturday night, and it's quite amazing. The racetrack is right downtown too, and the Hall of Fame is right there. So they live, sleep, drink, and eat sprint car racing up here. This is what they do.
Yeah, and that ain't no lie. I couldn't remember because I didn't see it, but is the car wash still across the street?
Yeah, it's right straight across the street. So is Dingus Bar. Where Dingus's is. That's the get down place. And actually, I've gotten to be pretty good friends with AJ, who owns it. And we're going to do a souvenir trailer there for the Nationals. And of course, I think Roger's already committed for you guys to come up and do the show up here the whole week. We're going to set up right there at the bar. That's where everybody hangs out. It's pretty cool. It's kind of it's a good group of people, man.
It is, and it's probably some of the best people in racing because there might be a scuffle here and there, but 1 minute there's a scuffle, and the next minute you're buying the guy a beer.
Oh, totally. And, the thing about it that I was I didn't know what I was really getting into when I came up, but I gotta be honest with you, but these are just really, really salt of the earth, cool people. I've just kind of made myself a second home up here already.
And that's easy to do, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. So, anyway, it's just very excited to be up here. And, you and I talked about this time last year. Well, maybe over in August, but I wouldn't mind, you or I both wouldn't mind maybe doing a sprint car deal one more time just for old time's sake, have some unfinished business. And lo and behold, it wasn't a week later that I got an email from this guy, Scott Galp, and wanted to know if I want to come up and drive for his team that he was going to start up. It was just kind of really, really uncanny. And we all debated that over the winter, and finally I just said, yep. And probably one of the better decisions I've made in my life, actually, to come up here and do this. It's cool.
Well, you're going to have to get your backup car running.
No, when I told him, I said, Matthew's going to be chomping to bit.
You know it.
I know. You never know. You can never know. You never know. Kind of cool. Yeah, this is cool. We just started from scratch. Building the team. And Scotty's in the garage door business. Also owns some land, and he sold some land and some timber. And that's where he came up with his racing budget. And he's always wanted to own a sprint car team. And he sponsored Ricky Logan for years and years and years. And, of course, Ricky had the Lucas Oil thing, and now Ricky's the Lucas Oil distributor in New Zealand. And but he's here on vacation, so he wanted to help put this thing together. And we're pretty fired up, man.
Are you going to be in the car this weekend, or is Ricky going to be jump?
No, I'm going to run it. Ricky wanted me to go ahead and get in it. I said, look, Rick, if you want to go ahead and run it just while you're over here, just kind of, do it. No, Terry, you got to drive the car. It's your car. So that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to burn the midnight oil tomorrow night and get the motor in the car and let her rip.
Let her rip. I've been in minor contact with you, but got a couple of cars, so you got a couple of backups and...
Right.
Got everything ready to go, don't you?
Yeah, we got everything ready to go. He got him a big old, 40-foot, 18-wheeler trailer. We haven't got a tractor rig to pull it, but he's got some folks who are going to do that for him here. And so it's been quite amazing. I call it the Scotty and Terri adventure of 2012 because we've been all over this country rounding up equipment. Just me and Scotty driving down the road, kind of cool. Who would have thought it, Who would have thought it? This is a long way from Bianca Jagger's apartment in L.A., isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a bit of ways.
I know it. I know it's kind of crazy. There I was hanging out with Bianca Jagger, and now I'm in Iowa racing sprint cars.
And who would have thought? And a lot of people don't realize, and you can help me out with this, Iowa's probably the largest racing state there is.
Oh, totally. Honestly, Scotty and I were downtown. We're actually downtown Des Moines last Saturday, just kind of messing around for midday before we went over to Knoxville to the track, and he had a Donnie Schatz T-shirt on. And honestly, we were walking down through the business district, and somebody said, "Go Schatz!" We turned around and some guy with a business suit on. Like, holy crap! So you kind of know, it's kind of like being in New York City and somebody saying "Go Gordon" or something. Yeah, but it was kind of cool.
It's the Charlotte of dirt racing.
It totally is the Charlotte of dirt racing. Absolutely, 100%. This is where it's at.
Yeah.
Sammy's Swindale's Crew Chief dude's shop is just about a quarter of a mile from where we get our race car parts from. So, and his 18-wheelers up here now, they're refurbished and stuff, the stuff they ran on TV Friday night. We were just over there this afternoon. So.
Yeah, he didn't have too much luck up there at Charlotte. I got a chance to watch that race.
Yeah, Sammy was he was pushing his luck a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Right, we're going to do a T-shirt, a quoted T-shirt for what Sammy said Friday night, and it's going to say, quote, "Well, he saw me coming."
You know what?
I know.
The second wreck he was in, I'll give him he just hooked. There was nothing he could do.
Nothing he could do.
I don't blame the second one. The first one,
typical Sammy though.
Yeah, that was a classic Sammy Swindell move. That's all I got to say.
Totally, totally Sammy's trademark.
That was a Sammy move. So.
Okay. So anyway, we're just it's really kind of it's really an awakening, a second awakening for me to be in and around the sprint car world, because you kind of when you're around the stock car bunch, and you know me, I've kind of come through Charlotte and then up there where you guys are. I've been around the NASCAR bunch for a while. You really kind of forget about how freaking big a deal this is. This is huge. This is a big freaking deal up here, and frankly, they think NASCAR racing is silly. To be honest with you about it, they love it, but it's like, oh no, this is what we do.
I tried explaining the other night.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a good example. VMS Saluda, which is just up the road from us.
Sure.
They're running 16 seconds in dirt late models.
Right.
When the World of Outlaws sprint cars showed up, they were down running 14 seconds.
Exactly.
On a half-mile dirt track.
Right. It's amazing.
And it is. It's quite amazing. And then they wonder why Casey Kane and Tony Stewart, Kenny Schrader doesn't go sprint car racing, but, a lot of these guys go back to their roots. They go back to dirt because it's fun and it is fast.
It's fun and it's fast and it's challenging. Tony Stewart made the statement. I actually put the statement in my book. Tony Stewart made the statement on his radio show that he had on Sirius a couple of years ago that the hardest thing he ever had to learn how to do was drive a World of Outlaw 410 sprint car with a wing on it.
Yep.
You and I have done both. We've done everything there is to do in the sport, from driving different types of race cars. And quite honestly, it takes a higher skill level and a more committed skill level to do the 410 sprint than anything I've ever done. And that's not taking anything away from the Cup cars or American Le Mans cars or a midget or whatever. It just has to be on your game because it is quick. You are on it. This is happening.
Tony Stewart said it Friday night. He says, this is the only car, when you drive it into the corner, it leans left. It doesn't lean right.
No, it leans left. The wing slings that sucker over to the left on the left rear.
Yep. It rolls it over on the left rear. You're exactly right. And he says, and that's something you have to get used to, and it's something very hard to get used to.
No, you drive the car. even though you're steering the car with the front tires and everything, but the car really drives off the rear. The left rear and the right rear drive that car, and you actually drive it. You do a little trail braking with these things. You're kind of on the throttle, but you're also kind of riding the brake a little bit because it kind of turns the car to do these things. It also kind of gives you some traction control too. It's kind of like having your own built-in mechanical traction control, but doing this trail braking thing. And so there's a skill set there. Your hands are moving, your feet are moving, and your brain better be moving.
Well, you just said it right there. Your brain better be moving.
Yeah, it's in gear. Talking about the trail braking thing like that, I tested that stock car out there at Langley. We all went out there and drove that thing. And I came in and they were, oh my God, you're doing such a great job. And the first thing that Butch asked me, he said, well, how much brake were you using? And I just told him, I said, well, I was using brake. I wasn't running down the corner and jamming the brake, and making our nose over. But I was kind of trail braking the car all the way into the center of the corner. I wasn't riding the brake, for it to start pushing. But that's one of the things I think you learn in sprint car racing, and I think that's what, Jeff and Tony and Ryan and Tacy Kane and Dave Blaney and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Brad Sweet and all these guys bring to the sport is that they learn that foot action and the sprint car that you don't really get in any other type of vehicle. So it's a cool sport.
That's something that at Langley you can trail brake a little bit better and let the car roll through the center of the corner and be quick.
Right. Exactly. You just kind of like ease her off in the corner. You get off in the corner nice and hard, but you just don't slam the brakes. You kind of just like ease into the brakes and ride it all the way into the point before you need to start rolling. And I think that's just something you learn with sprint car racing.
Yep.
I think you just do it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, it must be helping these guys because Tony Stewart's going to do 50 races this year, and I think Casey Kane's going to be doing just as many as them.
Right.
Right. You got 15. Michael Waltrip Racing.
Yeah, right. What's his name? I can't think of his name.
If we wouldn't have asked, we'd know it right off the tip of our heads.
I know. We know who he is.
But yeah, we know who he is.
Yeah.
Clint Boyer.
Right.
He goes back and runs dirt. And now, we got the Prelude coming up June 6th.
Right.
And you got these guys wanting to go do this race. Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson. These guys love going to do this stuff.
They love it. They love it.
And Danica will be there for her first time. I seen an interview. She's kind of excited about it.
I think this would be great for her.
I think so, too.
This will give her some car control where the car feels loose and out of control. That's the thing that Danica's missing right now, especially on the tracks under a mile and a half, is that when the car gets a little weird and freaky, she don't know what to do with it because she doesn't have anything to draw from her past driving experiences.
Yeah.
I think this third thing will give her a mental connection to the car's got to be loose to be fast. And this is what's going to say.
Yep. So it'll do her good. If not, she'll have a whole hell of a lot of fun.
Sure, and I think the media have a good time with it, and I think it'll be great.
Yeah. I might have to get that. That's an HBO pay-per-view thing. I might have to get that one.
I know it. All right, look, guys, when you guys come back here for the Nationals, I got a house. We got everything taken care of. We've got a big old house with bedrooms, and a basement, and backyard, and dogs and cats. The racetrack's a mile and a half from the driveway, and it's all good.
Well, we'll be for the Nationals. We might have to make a trip. You got some vacation time, Tommy?
Oh, I can make it.
Oh, okay. We're coming.
I like that. I like that, Tommy. Just make some time, baby.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody I talk to, I tell them you got to go to Knoxville at least once in your life.
It's like Talladega. You got to go to the infield at least once in your life. Well, you got to come to Knoxville at least once. I mean, you're right, Matt. You can't explain how big a deal this is. I mean, it's just insane how big a deal this is up here.
A little 8,000 person town, and that's about all the bigger it is.
Oh yeah, totally.
gets 150,000 fans,
I know it.
just probably all 50 states, but
Right.
they come from Europe, they come from Australia, they come from all over the place
Right. It totally do.
for this one race.
Right. There's a couple of Aussies that are racing here every Saturday night. They're here racing. They come from Australia, and they're camped out at the campground with their motorhomes, and they race at Knoxville every Saturday night.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. Because, in Australia, sprint car racing is what they do. That and the supercar racing, and the V8 supercars and sprint cars is what they do in Australia.
Yep.
The sport. So anyway, it's cool. I'm honored that Scotty believed in me enough and cared and got me up here. Cool. Got my new purple helmet painted. All good, did he?
Good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to let you go get ready. I believe we got Bret on the phone. Okay. I'm going to let you go here. We got Bret Hamilton coming up next. And good luck, and we'll be talking to you soon.
You got it, babe.
All right, ma'am.
It's all you guys. All right.
You let her thank her sponsors or anything?
Yeah, you got any sponsors you want to thank real quick?
Well, sure, absolutely. Obviously Scott Gappin and his A plus garage door business. We got Al Parker Motors here in Newton is going to be helping us do some stuff, and then Custom Race Car Parts over in Newton too is going to be helping us do some things. And we've got some other things on the hook. Maybe we can make an announcement next week or two about some other really positive things coming on. And of course, obviously, Dangerous Curves, the Terri O'Connell story, and Dangerous Curves, the apparel company, is going to be directly involved with all this. So, and let's talk racing.
All righty. Well, listen, good luck, and we'll be talking to you here shortly.
All right, guys. Peace out. Have a great one.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, he got that right.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay. We got Bret Hamilton on the phone, master car builder. I'm going to say that right now.
I don't know about that.
Oh, come on now. You already got a bunch of wins this year with your chassis, don't you?
Yeah, everybody else has won, but I haven't won anything yet.
Well, you've been too busy building them cars. I've been kind of keeping up with you a little bit.
Yeah, we haven't raced as much as I normally race, but we ran a little bit this weekend.
How'd it go this weekend? Let's talk about that a little bit this weekend. I caught a little bit of it on Facebook, but how'd that go?
Not too bad. We went to Beckley, West Virginia Friday night, Thunder Mountain, West Virginia Saturday night, Princeton, West Virginia on Sunday. We didn't do too well qualifying, got a bad draw every night. The last night we drew for heat race starting spots, and I drew the highest number they had in the bucket. So I had to start last, but finished fourth Friday night, fifth Saturday night, and third on Sunday. We move forward every night.
And you're not just running against 9 or 10 cars. You got full car fields up there, don't you?
Yeah, and the guys are, I know there's a couple guys in the top 4 and 5 in the AMRA points. They're, half the field is capable of winning about every night. Friday night we had the top 5 under a blanket at the finish, and pretty much the same way Sunday night. So it's pretty tough up there.
And it's just like we were just talking to Terri. She's back up in Iowa in Knoxville. These modifieds on dirt are getting really popular around here, aren't they?
Yeah, I built 5 new ones since the first of the year. For some for around here, some for over in West Virginia. I've got 8 cars around Beckley now. And talked to a couple other guys while I was over there about maybe getting one. So they're spreading out a little bit.
What's the best way to put this without... What makes a Bret Hamilton car so good? I mean, I know it, but tell our viewers, what makes your car better than anybody else's?
I don't know. I guess I've just been doing it a long time. It helps to have good people in the cars, take care of them, and stay on top of them, and they're not afraid to try things. Most of them, when they try something, will let me know, and so I can kind of pass it around, get them all going faster.
Are you pretty much an open book when it comes to that? If you figure something out, you're going to make sure your other guys know about it?
Yeah, and if I had a guy that I built a new car for over in Beckley, one a couple weeks ago, but having a little trouble getting it going on Friday night. I told him exactly what I had on mine, where I had my bars set, and he ended up beating me.
He ended up beating you?
Yeah, ended up third. I was fourth. I did have a car win, so I had three of the top four there Friday night. That's always good for business.
Yeah, that's very good for business. And now you've got some good quality asphalt cars out there too now, don't you?
Yeah, John Beluso's still running one. Cade, Michael Johnson bought Chris Johnson's car. Running pretty good at Southside, South Boston. Thomas Stinson, of course, is always good. Mike Rudy, Cameron Patrick. They all run pretty good.
What's the plan for the year now?
For my stuff, I'm probably not going to run as much as I normally do. The last couple of years, I'd run 35 or 36 nights, but I've been so busy here in the shop, we've only run 5 nights so far this year. And, I'm going to take this week off because I'd have to change my motor. Because the only place running really is VMS. I've got my aluminum head motor in. I'd have to change it, my steel head motor back in, then change it again on Sunday because I'm going back to Beckley next weekend, the 8th. They've got a Road Warrior race there, the AMRA, a higher money race. And we're going to spend the night in Beckley, come back to Natural Bridge. They got a Federated Auto Parts night. Kenny Schrader's going to be there racing. That's going to be a Road Warrior race. So I'm going to try to hit those two on the 8th and 9th. And then after that, I really don't know where I'm going. Probably County Line on the 16th. That's as far out as I've planned.
Probably about as far as you can plan right now.
Yeah. It kind of depends what's happening in the shop, and if other people tear stuff up and they need to get it back, I got to stay here and make some money, and so I can go play.
Are you you got any other cars you're building right now?
I'm building a new asphalt car for David Winslow. Chassis is on the jig. It'll be done this week, and got to do another one for Tanner Amon. He should be done in a couple weeks.
So staying quite busy then.
Yeah, and I fixed an asphalt car today. They picked it up today. I think the guy's trying to sell it, and it's probably going to end up in Langley. Have a buyer for it down there. Got 2 dirt cars here that I'm working on 2 to fix.
So too much going on and not enough time to do it. And it's just you and Tina, isn't it?
Most of the time, 2 of us went this weekend racing, but I know quite a few people over there in the Beckley area now, and those guys that I've raced with in the last couple of years. So if I need a hand, I can find one. And I got a guy, Joe Cox, that I built a couple cars for, and he's got a fabrication shop over there, so I can go to his shop after the race and fix anything that needs to be fixed. Got to do a little bit of that Saturday morning because we got tangled up in a couple wrecks on Friday, but still ended up coming. Started 10th, finished 4th. Can't really complain too much.
Nothing major though to fix, right?
No, sheet metal.
Sheet metal, that's good.
No, go again.
That's the one thing about dirt. Just fix it and keep on going.
Yeah.
Any plans to go to Iowa this year?
I'm going to go out there in July, but I'm not going to take my car. I got much to do it to change to legal where I'm going to be. IMCA racing is, I'd have to change motors. The rear's not legal. A-arms are not legal. So I'd about have to have another car to run.
Yeah.
Near where my parents live. That's what I'm going for anyway. And my wife would be ready for a week off and just go watch the races, not have to thrash.
Yeah. She's just as big a fan as you are, isn't she?
I think now, sometimes at this point, she wants to go more than I do.
Has she determined when you're going to retire yet?
No, she says I got to have something to do, and she doesn't want me golfing or fishing or hunting. So,
Well,
about what's left.
yeah, that's about all that's left. Well, listen, I know you're at the shop, and I know you're still working tonight, so I'm going to get you on out of here as quick as I can.
All right.
You've had some sponsors on that car this year. Who else is helping you out this year?
I got a little bit. Weeks Custom Cars is helping me, and Performance Bodies, and J&J Fabrication. We can always use some more. I don't know how much local racing we're going to do. We're going to run some at BMS, but we can always use a little bit more help.
Help for anybody this time. I'll call you tomorrow. I got something I want to run by you tomorrow.
Okay, I'll be here at the shop.
All right, Bret, thanks for calling in, and you take care, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to hang with him
Yes.
about a couple months ago, actually. 1st of March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, great guy, fun guy to be around, and hell of a racer. Do we got anybody else calling on? It's 7:30.
Threw him out so quick. I was going to tell you running to 7:40, but oh well.
Why, we got somebody calling in at 7:40?
I don't know.
He was at the shop. I knew he was at the shop, so.
Yeah. Well, Caitlin, she went to the doctor, and the doctor stuck her way too many times, or somebody did. So she wasn't feeling too hot after that. So she had some procedure that they were supposed to do real quickly. It didn't turn out to be so quickly.
It never does.
Yeah. A couple other guys, they could never firm it up on the schedule, so I said, heck with it. So, but anyway, hey, you got plenty of stuff we can talk about. You got some of these fundraiser stuff that you got kicking
Yeah,
off.
we're going to kick it off. This one's this weekend. Put it up there, since you got rid of my other stuff. Racers for Research is doing a fundraiser June 3rd from 2 o'clock to 5 p.m., 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., Quaker Steak and Lube in Newport News, right on Jefferson Avenue. Race cars, driver's autographs, car and bike show, door prizes. There's going to be vendors, music, 50-50 raffle. All this money's going to the autism research. So it's Racers for Research.
Say that 3 times real fast.
Racers for Research.
All right.
Okay.
Good boy.
Got that. Next. And I'm going to make sure, it's June 6th, I believe. I'm going to make sure that's the right date. Because this is the 3rd. So it's got to be June 6th. That's the second annual. That's the first annual. That's the wrong one. 3rd annual.
Tommy, get him straight.
He's working on
A
it.
bigger hammer.
Let me see, I got one back here.
These guys they're going to have a lot of fun because they got an ugly car competition. They've got street rod, and this is the 3rd annual car and bike show, Hampton Christian on Armstead Avenue, Hampton Christian High School. Fundraiser for the athletic program. Last year, I know of a couple of cars that are going to be there, but Gravedigger's been there. Last year, which was their 2nd year, it was the 3rd largest car show on the peninsula, period. This year, the way it's turning out, it's going to be the largest car show
Sweet.
on the peninsula. My buddy Thomas Stinson's bringing his Southern Mod down. We got a couple other people coming in. But come out to this and support this. These are both great fundraisers. You're going to see a lot of cars. And if you're a vendor and want to come out, contact, I don't have anything on here. Yeah, I do. racersforresearch@gmail.com. They can get you set up. It's on Facebook too, Racers for Research. Hampton Christian car shows on there too. Contact their Facebook page. It'll have all the information. Come out and join us. And I don't know what else we want to talk about.
Well, one of our future guests will be Leonard Wood.
When's Mr. Wood going to be on?
I don't have the exact date on that. I just got a text from
Hall of Fame.
He would love to be back on here with us again and talking about the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, and just inducted. His
Yep.
brother Glenn was in last year, so good to see that. We can talk about that. Although we don't have our buddy here, Al.
You probably could call him up and get him on the phone.
Hey, you're the producer. You produce.
We'll see.
Let's talk about that.
And we'll be here till 2 in the morning.
Let's see if we can find it. There was a tie. I know there was a tie. And it was Buck Baker and somebody else that literally tied. But our 2000 class of 2013 will be Buck Baker, Cotton Owens, Herb Thomas, Rusty Wallace, and Leonard Wood. All of them deserve to be in there. I think Rusty was a little early. We got him? I love having Al on here. Al Pierce, you on the phone with us?
Yeah, I'm here. How are y'all?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, I've recovered from my 2 round trips back and forth to Charlotte just in time to go to Dover. So
Oh, well, and you'll leave tomorrow, won't you?
tomorrow afternoon or maybe early Friday morning.
Driving?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to ask you, how did your induction ceremony go? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it went very well. That was the Saturday night of Richmond race weekend. The first Richmond race I've ever missed, in fact. It was over in Portsmouth at the big hotel right by the waterfront there, and it was very nice. I guess there were probably 600 people there, most of them in tuxedos, looking very nice. Looked like a convention of penguins, somebody said.
Yeah.
And got to make a little speech, and it was really cool. I was on the platform sitting beside Roy Hendrick, whose father, of course, Ray Hendrick, also was inducted that night. But Roy was there to represent the family, and I talked to Roy a long time before the event started. And then actually, when I got up to give my little 10-minute speech, I devoted some of my time to Roy and his father. So it went very well. That was the last Saturday night in April. I left the next morning to fly to Reno, Nevada, to get on a motorcycle and ride back home. So I got back just in time to go to Talladega and then Darlington and 2 weekends in Charlotte, and I got Dover and Pocono coming up, and I'm going to take a little break, a little week off.
A little week off.
Yep.
Well, congratulations on your induction. We can now call you Mr. Hall of Fame.
I guess, if you want to, but you don't have to.
Okay. And I got a book for you to read. I want to trade books with you.
Okay.
We talked about that Holman and Moody book.
Okay.
I've got a book I want to trade you, and I want you to read it.
Okay.
So we'll get together on that here soon. But what I really wanted to talk to you about, they announced the new Hall of Fame. Buck Baker, Cotton Owens, Herb Thomas, Rusty Wallace, Leonard Wood.
Right. They almost got it right.
I agree with you.
They came real close to having a perfect class. In my mind, Fireball Roberts instead of Rusty Wallace would have made it a perfect class.
I agree with you.
And I wrote some things for my magazine. I wrote some things for some websites saying that the long-time, old-time fans who felt like they were being insulted or dissed, as the kids say, you can't say that about this class, because they took 3 of the pioneers, 2 of them deceased, Cotton Owens being the 3rd, And I considered Leonard Wood to be kind of what you could call a cross-generational guy. He appealed to both the old-timey fans, and he's still somewhat active with the Wood brothers now. So he kind of Leonard spans about 45 or 50 years. So he kind of pleases everybody, I think.
Right.
And I just think Rusty could have waited. He's and I can understand why they wanted him in. He's on TV a lot. He's out and about. He talks a lot. He will do a great deal to publicize and promote the Hall of Fame. You really couldn't have a class, quite frankly, with 5 dead guys.
Right.
You just couldn't do that.
Right.
So I think Herb and Buck Baker deceased long. Cotton Owens is not doing well, and it might be a miracle if Cotton lives until next February. But, Rusty's, hell, he's around forever. And Leonard Wood doesn't get any older by the year. So they got 2 guys right there who can really promote the Hall. They can talk about it. They can go out in public and help promote it. But I still think that Rusty was too soon. I think either Fireball Roberts or Joe Weatherly, Curtis Turner, any of those guys would have been a better pick than Rusty. Not that Rusty won't go in eventually, but you got Joe Weatherly with two championships. You got Tim Flock with 2 championships sitting out there with a lot of wins. So I think those 2 will go in next year. I think Fireball will go in next year. I'm guessing Dale Jarrett goes in next year. Because he'll be sort of like Rusty, be a many-time winner and a former champion who's on TV. Will promote the place, talk about it, be introduced as Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett, and I think that's the consideration.
Well, you still got guys out here like, and I agree with you, and I see where you're going with it, and I kind of see, I understand what they're doing here. It's just like you said, they still want to have a couple in there that are alive to help tell the stories.
Exactly, yes.
And Rusty Wallace, yeah, he's very deserving of it.
But not now.
But not now, I agree.
Right.
You can't get much better than Buck Baker and Cotton Owens and Leonard Wood. Of course, Leonard should be in there.
Oh, yeah.
But, they mentioned on this list, Rick Hendrick.
Much too early.
Much too early, but Jack Ingram now.
Jack should go in. I was surprised that Jack didn't get, and Jack got a lot of support, I was told. I thought that Jack would go in as sort of the sportsman version of Richie Evans.
Right.
So, Jack's got to wait a while, but when he goes in, he's deserving now. And that's another hard thing you got to figure out. When you say a man is deserving of the Hall of Fame, what does it matter which class he enters with? If you're deserving to be in the Hall of Fame, why couldn't you have been in the first class?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, whatever. So, but I think Jack will be in, of course, eventually. Fireball will get in. Curtis Turner will get in. Joe Weatherly will certainly get in. Tim Flock will certainly get in.
Yeah.
So, but I think they almost got it perfect this time. Not quite, but they were. This is the closest they've been to an absolutely, inarguably good class.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, well.
And I don't get a vote, so I can't really do much about it. But I should, but I don't. So I can't make my feelings known to those people.
You should.
Well, I know some of the voters, and I told a bunch of guys on Thursday at the Speedway, hey, you guys almost got it right. And they, everybody who votes has got a reason for voting their 5. The only thing that worries me is that there's still too many conflicts of interest. There are people who get a vote who have relatives on the list of inductee of candidates. I don't know that that's right.
Right.
I don't know that Clay Campbell, as much as I like Clay Campbell, as much as I respected Clay Earls, I don't know that Clay Campbell should get a vote as long as his grandfather's is a nominee. Things like that. So
Yeah, I see where you're going.
but there's some others like that. So anyway,
And we've had this talk before. You know, they're talking about, you know, putting Clay Earls in. Where's Paul Sawyer on the list?
you can't take one without the other. Now the difference is very simple. Earls and Big Bill France were business partners. They were drinking buddies. I'm sure they both packed heat together. I don't know that Paul Sawyer was part of that elite little clique. I don't know that Paul was a business partner of Bill France Sr. like Clay Earls was. So
Right.
maybe some. And the other thing, I mean, why is Rick Hendrick on the list of nominees and not Jack Roush?
Well, exactly.
Why isn't Bruton Smith among the list of nominees?
Yep.
My God, and Bruton Smith's 85 years old. He acts like he's 55, but he's 85 years old, and Bruton Smith may be the most important person in racing not named France.
One of them. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
He controls 7 or 8 racetracks. He controls 33 or 34 dates spread among NASCAR, NHRA, and IndyCar. I mean, he is a powerful man. But he's not even on the list.
What about Humpy Wheeler?
Right, exactly. Now, it'll be a while before Humpy goes in, because NASCAR didn't like Humpy. They don't like Bruton either, but they didn't like Humpy because Humpy was light years ahead of NASCAR in promotions and advertising and stuff like that. So I think they're going to make Humpy squirm a little bit. Probably going ahead of Humpy.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be a good call. I don't know. But, eventually they're going to reach, again, we talked about this on the show a couple of times. When you've got 60 years of history to start with, and you're only taking 5 people per year, well, you got to go a long time to get caught up.
Yeah, you do.
And really, you don't ever get caught up because before too many years, Terri Labonte will become available, 2-time champion. Billy Elliott will become eligible. Ray Evernham will be eligible. I mean, before long, a lot of guys, in other words, you could have more guys becoming eligible than you have going in. So you've always got that deep pool of people from which to choose.
Exactly. Well,
and you'll never run out. You'll always, because as soon as 5 go in, 6 or 7 or 8
will come back.
Right.
And it's just like you said. You're gonna have Jeff Gordon, Ray Evernham, and once he retires, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson is definite shoe in.
What do you do with Harry Hyde?
Exactly.
Harry Hyde's got to go in.
Yeah, most definitely there.
Go in.
Bobby Isaac should go in.
Yeah, he's on the list. Yeah.
So
it's been a while for Bobby because he was only a one-time champion. And here's somebody that people are going to argue with me about. Alan Kulwicki. He won 1 championship. Do you know how many races he won?
16?
Not nearly that many, no.
7 or 8?
Yeah. Under 10, I think.
But I think he's well deserving because of what he was. Besides Tony Stewart, he was the last owner operator.
Well, I know. Yeah. In fact, I think he was. When you come right down to it, he was far more an owner driver than Stewart is.
Exactly, he was. He worked on the cars. He did everything.
Well, the other thing is when Stewart became an owner, he basically bought an established team.
Yep.
It wasn't a very good one, but it was already there.
He bought into.
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, he became a partner with an owner who already had a team. Kulwicki basically started from scratch with a 1-bay building somewhere in South Carolina with Quincy Steakhouse on it, and went from there.
Yep.
So he'll probably get in. There's some other one-time. I mean, Bill Elliott certainly will be an immediate go-in. So let me tell you what. It's going to be a discussion we will have this time of year from now on.
Yep.
And we'll never run out of controversy. There is, and I wrote in my magazine the other day, there's never been a unanimous class. There never will be. But at least this year they got it as close as they ever have. I told people that in the first class, most people thought David Pearson should be in and one of the Francis should not be in. Second year, they thought, well, okay, either Bud Moore or Ned Jarrett can maybe wait a bit longer. Let's get an old guy. The third year, they had Darrell and Cale and Richie and Glenwood and Dale Inman. And when you look at, as much as I love the family, when you look at Glenwood's his resume, he only won 4 races. And although he was an outstanding team owner, there were some people who said, well, maybe he should have waited a year or two.
Right.
And now this year you got to wait for Rusty. So there's never been a perfect class and never will be, but this one was pretty close.
Yeah, I think, I'm with you on that. It's pretty close.
Yep.
So, and since we got about 9 minutes left, and I'm not going to keep you much longer than that because I know you got to go and spend time with your family. But I want to ask you, you've been to a lot of races this year.
Every time I spend time with them, they're asking for money.
So you'd rather spend time with us. We feel good about that.
Well, y'all at least buy me dinner on occasion.
Oh, yeah. We'd have no problems doing that anytime you come over.
My daughter drove down from Radford last Sunday and brought 3 of her college buddies with her for the race. And first thing she said was, "Hey, Daddy, how are you? How much cash do you have?" She said, "I want a T-shirt." Oh, God. Anyway, okay.
Anyway, I'm going to ask you, because you've been to a lot of the races, Kurt Busch.
Who? He got on his crew the other night on radio. It sounded like the Kurt Busch of old, which is not good.
Right.
Not a good thing. I don't know what's going to happen there. You know, I like him because he is about as talented and about as aggressive, and I think he's good for racing. In that, it's hard to not watch him. But man, he's got to clean up his act still. He's got a long way to go.
I agree with you on that.
I was sitting beside a man in the media room the other day who had his radio tuned to Kurt's channel, and he kept saying to me, he said, "God, you should hear what he's calling his crew. You should hear what he's saying about his car. You should hear what he's..." And I said, "The same old Kurt." He said, "You sound like Richmond last year."
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of talk, or some talk, I'm not sure there's a lot of talk. There's some talk that maybe if he goes over to Joe Gibbs, that he might replace Logano, because Home Depot wants a driver and a car that will at least give Johnson and Lowe's a bit of a run for their money. And Logano's an awfully good nationwide driver, but he hadn't, you know, he's only got that one Cup win in a rain-shortened race. And I wonder if Home Depot may not be willing to take Busch with all of his warts and all of his little problems if Joe Gibbs is there with his finger on his throat all the time. So I don't think Kurt will be gone from racing. I don't think we're going to miss him or lose him. But I don't know, you know, he may not want to stay with the 51 car another year. They may not want him to stay another year. I don't know. There's a lot of talk about he might join his brother over at Gibbs, and boy, that would be a pretty delicate juggling act for the old coach.
He would definitely have his hands.
The old coach had Dexter Manley and John Riggins and some other fools, so maybe he can handle this guy too.
Well, you know, you can kind of say he helped Tony Stewart out a lot.
I'm sure, yes, he did. Exactly right.
So, has he helped Kyle out? A little bit.
Yeah, I think so. The thing that helped Tony the most was becoming an owner. I think when Tony became an owner, he grew to realize that there's more to this thing than just turning left and going fast. You got to be politically correct. You got to schmooze your sponsors. You can be outspoken at times, but you can't be nasty and vicious and and profane as he had been years earlier. So we'll see what happens with old Mr. Kurt. I don't think he'll win with this team. I don't think the 51 car is good enough to win unless it's at Daytona or Talladega. But who knows? I don't know. I'm the guy who said Danica might win a nationwide race. So obviously, I don't know a whole lot.
Well, you know, she still could.
I still want to know. Do you ever think Home Depot may hook back up with Tony?
No, I don't think. No. I think Tony and Mobile are pretty set for a while now. But that's just me. Again, what do I know? Danica, I wrote a piece for AutoWeek today at AutoWeek.com. You can read it if you like. It says that Danica pretty much holds her own in Nationwide. She qualifies decently, and she'll find herself a comfort zone. By that I mean she'll race along there until everybody who wants to come by her aggressively. In other words, she'll stay where she is until somebody hounds her. Then she'll let them go. And then the last person that hounds her, she kind of stays behind that person and stays ahead of the guy behind her because he's not bothering her. And she'll stay in that position as long as she possibly can. You know, she will race her position in Nationwide far more than she races her position in Cup.
It seems like she is in learning mode. It's like that's all she's trying to do. She's not worried about her position. She's not worried about where she's finishing. She just wants to run every single lap and learn. Well,
she should run the K&N series then. You know, you wouldn't get nearly as much attention, but you might actually be halfway competitive, and that might help some. Yeah, I think she's admitted that her sole purpose at Darlington was just to finish, and she did, and she rode around. And I wrote that she rode around, and you know, other people ride around too, but you know, if you're her, and the whole world is watching, and corporate America is watching, and NASCAR, my God, they're watching, they're hoping she'll bring them new fans. If everybody's watching you ride around, try to race somebody occasionally.
Yeah.
Do something. Man, and I do. Darrell got on TV at Darlington, said that she's the most impressive rookie he's ever seen at Darlington, and this and that and this and that. You know, there have been some drivers who've gone to Darlington as male drivers have gone to Darlington for their first race and done pretty well. I mean, top fives and top tens. I can't name one right now, but somebody in the media center the other night was talking about Darrell had forgotten so-and-so and forgotten, Terry Labonte was one of them. I mean, Labonte won at Darlington, his first start maybe? First or second race there ever?
Didn't Jamie McMurray also?
McMurray may have had a great run there. I don't remember all of them, but somebody pointed out that, Darrell's forgotten, and the guy listed about 5 or 6 people who had gone to Darlington early in their career, maybe as a rookie, and done extremely well.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know all this stuff about, you race the track, you don't race the other people. Well, Danica didn't. I guess she raced the track and she just let people pass her who wanted to. If an opportunity came for her to pass, she certainly took it, but not very often.
Yeah, not very often at all.
But I still think she's got a far greater chance in Nationwide. She's been on the lead lap. She's finished on the lead lap of 5 of her 11 Nationwide starts, which is okay for a rookie. And she's not been better than 30th in a Cup race.
Yeah, she hasn't done very well on the Cup side.
And I don't know. I don't know her schedule. I suspect she's probably running maybe Sonoma, maybe Daytona, and I'm sure she'll run Indy in August. You talk about the publicity machine. When she goes back to Indy in a stock car for the Brickyard, which I think she'll do. Well, I know she'll run the Nationwide race there.
Yeah, she'll definitely run. Yeah, and I think she's going to run the Cup.
They run the Brickyard too, but that'll be another dog and pony media show like Charlotte was.
Exactly. So, even with the Indy 500, that J.R. Not J.R. Hildebrand. What's the other GoDaddy driver?
Oh, I don't know.
Hughley?
Herncliffe, something like that?
Hinchcliffe?
Yeah, I think so.
Hinchman. They just promoted the hell out of him on that whole race.
I'm sure GoDaddy has a they bought a bunch of commercials, and I'm sure that the Speedway. I don't know how Indy works as opposed to NASCAR, but I know that NASCAR, if you sponsor a car like GoDaddy does, you are expected. I don't know that they're required, but they are expected to buy a certain number of commercials on TV and radio spots. So, but at Charlotte, I mean, you couldn't turn around at Charlotte without some Danica reference on a big screen or a home page or a front page or a magazine article. She continues to get media opportunities that nobody else gets. NASCAR brings her to the media center every weekend, whether she deserves to be or not. So, they're getting exactly, let me tell you what, they're getting exactly out of her what they expected and what they hoped for.
Yeah.
Which is bringing people to the TV sets who might never watch before or again. But how long can you do that if she's running 30th? I don't know.
Well, GoDaddy's got some big money behind her, that's for sure. So
there's a curiosity factor that eventually is going to run out.
That is, she's going to prove us all wrong.
Well, I think the curiosity factor will run out first.
Yeah.
Bruton Smith thinks she'll win a race. He thinks she's good. Darrell thinks she's good. Tony thinks she's good. But they've got to say that. I mean, Darrell Waltrip has got to say what NASCAR wants him to say about her. I mean, he's got to say what Fox wants him to say about her. But if you keep tearing her down and tearing her down and tearing her down, people will say, well, hell, why should I watch this race? Everybody's already said she's not going to finish better than 30th. Why should I even watch? So, there's a lot of gamesmanship going on. There's a whole lot of marketing and PR and advertising and sponsorship built around her, and the network has got to keep it going. They got to keep stoking the fire.
I'm going to ask you this, because I know you've been to quite a few races, and I've been watching a lot of them. Do you think they're boring?
The 600 actually was pretty decent for a while. I think when the sun went down and the 16 car suddenly realized it was nighttime, they weren't ready for nighttime.
Right.
And that's when the 5 and the 11 began to run pretty well. Darlington had its moments. Again, that's a place where you hold your breath, expect something to go wrong every moment. I am terribly disappointed in the All-Star race that the 5-time defending champion would lay down like a dog for three races and then win the last segment. And now, in his defense, he didn't do a thing wrong. The rules were you win a segment, you get to pit early, and you restart where you come out. A lot of folks thought the rule was if you win a segment, you get to pit early and you get to restart 1, 2, 3, 4, which is not the case at all.
But wasn't it that you get to pit early or the last segment, the winner of the first segment?
You get to pit early before the last segment, but that does not guarantee you anything. What if Johnson had changed tires and Biffle hadn't, or Kenseth?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you have the option when you go in first. The four leg winners went in 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think any of them did anything except stop and go.
Yeah, that's all they did, and they showed that dramatically that Johnson and Dale Jr. That's all they did, stop and go.
And that's all Johnson did. I think that's all Kenseth and Keselowski did, and they lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, but that wasn't necessarily how they were going to line up. It just happened the way they came out. So everybody had it wrong, thinking, well, if you win a segment, you get to start on the pole with a shootout, which is not the case. But anyway, I know that Johnson realized, okay, At worst, I'm going to start fourth in the shootout. At worst. Probably I'll start on the pole. Why should I get there? Why should I get up there for the second and third and fourth legs and risk my car when I know what I've got? So I'll just ride back here half lap behind and just kind of everything.
But can you blame him?
No, I can't blame him, but he's a guy that knows he's a 5-time champion, and isn't there something to be said for that? I mean, if you're a 5-time champion, don't you have a little bit of pride? Now, he won the race. I don't deny that at all. But I thought it was disappointing. I wish the format had been that if you win a leg, you still get to pit early, but you got to do something. You got to either take 2 tires, or you got to take a splash of gas, or something. And the last segment should be 20 laps, not 10.
Okay, well, give them a little bit of incentive. If you win the first one, and if you win any of the other 3 segments, we're going to give you an extra $50,000. Wouldn't that be a little bit of an incentive?
I don't know. I don't know that money means a thing to those people.
It's all about the prestige, isn't it?
I think so. It's about winning, yeah.
$1 million would have.
I know he won $1 million something. If you put a gun to my head, I couldn't come within $100,000 of telling you how much second place paid. Well, nobody ever cares.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think that they need. My suggestion would be this: you got your 23 car field, you got this year's winners and early next year's winners, you got previous winners, previous champions. Okay, you run a 20-lap segment. The last 3 guys are gone. You finish 23rd, 22nd, 21st. Go to the garage. You're done. You run another segment. The last 3 guys go to the garage. You're done. You run a third segment. The last 3 guys. You're done. Now you're down to 14 cars, and let's run 20 laps instead of 10. Well, you know what? Let's redraw. Let's redraw the top 8. See what happens.
Yeah, that's why I said spin the wheel.
And listen, if you don't want to do it, stay home.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I will say this. The NASCAR All-Star race is the most competitive, most meaningful, most legitimate All-Star event of any sport. Baseball, they don't care. They just, the NFL All-Star game is about dead or maybe dead already. The NBA All-Star game is just a shoot-around contest. At least the NASCAR race, you've got every star there is. Nobody doesn't not want to run the All-Star race. Nobody wants to back out at the last minute. In other words, you got baseball players and NBA players who say, my hamstring's hurt, I don't want to play. Nobody begs off the All-Star race deal. If you can run it, you're going to run it.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, though, you've got to make it so that the last 10 or 20 laps are stand-up laps.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't let people sit there, okay, 10 laps, Johnson gets a great start, Kansas spins his tires, the outside line slows down, and Johnson's gone. I might throw a caution. You throw debris out there, drop a flag or something.
Hey, wait. Tony Stewart said it right. Run them 10 laps, stop them, turn them around, run them the opposite way.
You can't.
Make them do a figure 8.
Well, that may be true, but you can't do that. You got the drivers
I know.
up against the wall. You couldn't do that. But yeah, not even run, make it a 20-lap segment, and after 10, do something. Do anything.
Hey, make them run the short track on the infield.
The quarter mile.
Make them run the quarter mile for 5 laps.
Some point, no, do it whenever you want to.
Yeah.
Some points you got to run the quarter mile.
Yeah, some points you got to run 5 laps on the quarter mile.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Well, then you'd wait till the last lap, and if you're the last guy there, boom, you just do it.
You just do it right there.
Flag, you go down there and do the quarter mile, and come back around, you win.
Yep, that's it.
Gee, I'm pretty smart.
Yeah. Well, listen, Al, we're going to let you out of here.
Other people have already done the quarter mile, so they'll be so far ahead that they may lap me before I get there. So, I don't know.
It's not a bad idea, though.
Well, I remember the year that Jeff Burton Jeff Burton or somebody won the All-Star race. The rule was you had to make a green flag pit stop sometime in the last segment.
Yeah.
Burton made his after taking the white flag. He came down pit road, got his service, and went across the line.
And won the race.
Yeah, because he only had to go 50 yards beyond the pit stalls. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was long enough ago that they could still speed on pit road, though.
Right. Next year the rule was you got to take the white flag, the checkered flag on the racetrack.
On the racetrack, yeah. But, Bobby Labonte got away with it in qualifying, I think, that almost that same year. He came down, and they said you had to run pit road speed coming down, but they didn't say nothing about leaving.
Yeah.
So he tore out of there and got the pole, because that was the deal, yeah. So. Well, Al, thank you for being on.
Anytime, just send me my usual check.
All right, we'll do that.
Check's in the mail.
Take care.
All right, thanks, Al. Always a good time having Al Pierce on the show.
And it was easier because he wasn't here.
He wasn't here.
Yeah. You can hang up the phone and say, okay, we'll see you later, mate.
Let's get out of here. This weekend, June 3rd, 2 to 5.
You didn't even run through all the crap at Langley this
Quaker Steak and Lube. Races for Research, June 6th. Hampton Christian, 8 o'clock in the morning until whenever. Be there. Let's get out of here. I want to go. I want to go see Hatfield and McCoy's.
Oh God! See everybody next week. See ya. Out of here.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driving 42 car on the thing. Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Let's Talk Racing is brought to you by PC Doctors, Computer Sales and Services. This doctor still makes house calls. And also Hampton Incredible Tees and Signs, both located at 1248 North King Street in Hampton, Virginia.